and their insecurities will cause them to have an obstruction to being fully included because they're afraid of being found out, or they're afraid of being freaking made to look bad in a bad way. I used to tell new chiefs in the Navy, they'd be going through this initiation process, and I would tell them, look, now's when we're going to find out if you really know how to do your job or not. Because once you become the chief or the gunny or the staff sergeant, there's no covering it up, bro. You either know how to do your MOS or you, right? Lisa coming in here, and I said, Mr. Whiteside said, back to intrusive leadership and possessing the moral courage to be transparent and have honor all day, concur. And you got to be willing to hear that feedback. And you know what else? I think deal with someone who needs some help, who even doesn't have all of it there, as long as they're willing to put the work in to get there, right? I can work with that. And then Lisa says they should have a responsibility to do something. We have to hold them accountable for their job, but we got to hold ourselves accountable as leaders to make sure they know how to do that job. And again, back to the hiring process, back to the selection process. And I also think back to when you first welcome them to the organization, what your expectations are. And then in my mind, telling them quickly if they're not meeting expectations so they can either get a get right plan, or they can let you know that this is the opportunity for them and y'all can just break bread and go different ways. For me, I would prefer to remove the term inclusion. Check this out. I would change it with opportunity. If I could change the narrative of these three buzzwords, I would say remove inclusion and put opportunity. And I want everybody in my team to know they have fair opportunity based on their abilities to accomplish whatever the thing is that's being asked of them. Now, can you rise to that opportunity? I don't know. That's on you. I can only give you opportunities and I can give you resources, but at some point you got to go, like you said, Chris, you got to hunt, baby, right? I remember old boy said once upon a time, throw me out in the jungle, I'll come back wearing chinchilla, right? Yeah. You throw me out, if you can make it in New York City, you can make it anywhere. Remember that energy?
Absolutely.
That's that energy, right? Quit making reasons why you can't win and let me know. And then if you've got some legit beef, let's cook it up and eat it, bro. Let's have that conversation, because professionals, adults should be able to use the words. All right. Okay, moving on to the next one. Here we go. Oh, equity. Oh, I love equity. Okay, hold on. Before I launch this one, I'm going to read to you what the textbook definition of equity, because I believe people really get it misconstrued, right? And I think it matters. I think, or the book says, equity, providing fair treatment and opportunities to address inequalities, often through tailored support. That's the textbook definition of equity. What do y'all think about that definition? And is equity required in the leadership conversation? And if so, through what lens are you approaching it? Because we just had this whole conversation about why these professionals or these adults should feel included. Now, again, if I'm working with children, which I do, I will have a lot of grace. If I'm dealing with people that have, unfortunately, like addiction problems, I'll give them some grace because there's some mental health problems there. If I'm dealing with people that have got some serious trauma, because there's probably a lot of things causing them to have deficits, right? I could deal with all those, but I'm thinking about fully functional, fully qualified. You got the job, baby. We're on the team. And somebody feels like it's not equitable. What can that mean?
So if I could, so first off, I do think to change the narrative, the word equitable should be changed to just excellent.